What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This week we're back on our C10 shop truck. Last time you guys saw it, we finished up that GSI step notch. We got the rear end all situated. We're still waiting on our GSI subframe to come from our buddy's shop in Miami. He's getting that thing dug out of his storage, so while we're waiting on this, we're gonna go ahead and start taking the cab off of the frame. We do have some work to do on the cab, so we're gonna be cleaning up our firewall a little bit. Today we're getting the glass taken out. So at this point, we're gonna start prepping our cab ready for paint. We also have to patch our gas fill that's up there in that driver's back corner of the cab. And of course, we're gonna be prepping this undercarriage for some bed liner. All right, so believe it or not, we only have 2 patches to make on this whole truck. One of which is our antenna, the other is our gas fill. So I already got my 2 circles cut out. I'm gonna go ahead and prep up our core support, and then we'll move on over to the cab way over yonder and get that gas fill filled up. All right, we got our cab pretty much completely stripped down, ready for paint. We got all of the glass removed, door panels, carpet, everything in our dash, all the clusters, radio, all that stuff's all been removed. It's definitely gonna be a little prep to do in the cab to avoid overspray and whatnot, but got our patches here done. And then as we were kind of working on the cab and disassembling it, I found this. No bueno. So believe it or not, we only have 2 patches to make on this whole truck. So this was a little bubble that was built up here in the corner and here. And as I started removing the Bondo and paint, you know, this just kind of starts getting away from you. So at some point, instead of fixing it right, somebody just bonded over rust. So we're gonna be cutting this whole section out, as well as this one, and replacing the metal. So I already got a piece of metal cut on our plasma table, and I got my slip roller out. So we're gonna give that that slight little radius, and get over there, mark it, cut it out, and weld it in. All right, in the process of prepping our doors to repaint, we've come up with some issues here. So both doors have a pretty rotten corner here on the bottom. So I'm gonna be cutting this out, obviously, and we're just gonna bend up some metal, MIG weld that in this section right here. I already worked on the driver's door over there. It's already been mended, and we got some Bondo on it drying up, so we'll be able to hopefully get both of these doors prepped and ready for paint. Cab's already pretty close to being ready for paint. We obviously have some things to prepare on the inside so we don't get overspray everything, but as far as our gas fill, we got Bondo on that. We got our rocker already Bondoed and sanded down. And like I said, this driver's door has been repaired already with a bunch of Bondo on there, like an ice and a cake here. So it's gonna take some sanding, but we'll get it. So back on the cab as we were prepping and getting all the gasket weather stripping off the door sill, and he was using our wire wheel to get all that gasket maker or glue off. Started seeing some more rust rot, so not too bad. It's gonna go ahead and weld this little piece in that bent up, and I got a little piece on the driver's side. So once this is done, it'll be official. The cab will be tight. All right, we're getting real close to spraying all our C10 parts. We got our cab pretty much prepped, ready to go. Last thing I gotta do is add some seam sealer here in between our firewall and our cowl. There was no seam sealer in here at all. So we're gonna prevent any water from getting in the cab and any further damage to our cab. So we're gonna go ahead and tape this off a little bit. We're gonna squeeze some in there. And this thing's pretty much ready to go, man. We got everything covered that we don't want paint on. And we've hit the cab with 320 and a 400 wet sand. We got rid of our fuel fill. We did some repairs to our sills and our rockers. Yeah, that's about it on the cab. The doors got some love. There was a couple holes that were not, I don't even know what they were for. I guess maybe an old mirror, so we got rid of those. Front fenders, we went through them, cleaned them up. Right here where the old lights used to be, you kind of see the imprint right here. That's the old weld. That was cracking. There was a couple things delaminating on our fenders. So we went through all that, some Bondo, some body fill. This still need to get blocked down and wet sanded. But other than that, our bed is pretty much good to go as well. So as soon as our paint shows up, we are ready to start spraying. I am excited to see what we got. All right, guys, spray day. I got my doors laid out, got my tailgate, my bonnet, and my bed. Ready to spray. These things have been prepped for the last week. I got a full gallon of this green paint. It's a Chevy medium olive. I'm super stoked to see this thing lay down. I'm gonna be mixing these 2 half gallons together because this is a metallic, so I just wanna make sure that everything is gonna be consistent, especially since I'm not able to spray everything at one shot. Obviously, I'm a little limited to space. I'm also gonna wet down our shop floor a little bit just to help any dust from bouncing up and getting back onto our parts. So let's go, man. Let's get this thing done. I'm super stoked on the way this green paint laid out. I think it looks awesome. Plan is to patina it, but I don't even know if I want to anymore. It looks so good. So that's 100% done. As far as the green goes, we still got to get the white on the bottom. We got the inside of our front fenders laid out, our cowl, our glove compartment door, the back side of our tailgate, front side of our doors, and our cab, which is basically the cowl, the rockers, the back, and just the dash. So I'm also repainting the hood. I had that thing flat yesterday and wasn't really stoked on how it came out, so I hit it with the 400 wet sanded and it's nice and smooth again. So we're gonna just give that one more coat. Hopefully I got enough paint, man. I'm down to this right here. This is what's left, so we gotta make this happen. Look at that. That is pretty. If y'all wanna know what color that is, it's called medium olive. I know you all be looking and asking. So let's get to spraying. All right, man, we got our green laid down on all our parts and we're moving on to the next stage, which is gonna be shooting some satin clear coat That way we could safely tape off where our white's gonna go, which is basically gonna be from, you know, this section down. Don't want to put tape on it just yet because I'm afraid we're gonna go ripping our green paint off. So I got some Poppy's matte, flat out matte coat and some gloss, 4-to-1. So I went to 4 parts matte, 1 part gloss, and then our activator. So this is ready to go, man. There should be plenty of clear to shoot everything. Not trying to get too crazy, just, you know, trying to protect it. Once this truck's all together, I'll probably go ahead and shoot a whole nother round of matte clear or satin clear, but I think it's coming out pretty nice, man. All right, that's a wrap, man. We are all painted up. I'm stoked. We are gonna take this tape off and we're gonna check it out. I already took the tape off these 2 parts over here, man. Check this out. Woo. Kind of fresh, kind of fresh. You know, once this trim goes on, it'll break it up a little bit. So we have our upper trim that's gonna go up here, and then the lower trim, which will break up our paint line. So I think it looks sharp, man. After this dries for another hour or so, I'm gonna go back through it with a gray Scotch-Brite, scuff it up a little bit, and then we're gonna clear all of our parts one more time. All right, over the weekend, we got all of our parts painted on our truck. We got our cab, our bed, our doors, everything is ready to go. Frame is all painted. Yes, we're still waiting on our front cross member so we can finish up our suspension, but we gotta keep it moving. So we got our new bushings for our cab mount, core support, and we're gonna go ahead and get this truck back together for now. All right, the truck's coming back together. The boys got the doors hung. In order to get our doors set correctly, we have to get our front fenders on, which means our core support is also on now. So basically we got to mock up the front of the truck so we can hang our doors and get them to swing correctly. But good news, I just got word our front cross member is on its way. So we may be held up for today, but it's gonna go down this week. Let's go. All right, truck's going back together. Got Dave up here. As they got the front fenders on, the core support, we decided to keep moving along with our core support, getting our headlights in, putting our condenser and our grill in. Got Brady over here, tidying up some things on the interior, getting the AC system back together, put our little back carpet back in. We got Andrew back here making some brake lines, waiting on some fuel system parts so we can run all that. We're gonna be getting our AccuAir components back in. Truck's coming along good, quickly.
All right, we got our tank and controller mounted back up, and I've plugged in all of our wiring, routed it in the directions it's going to go. These are all the sensors. Once the height sensors are installed, then we could hook up these. The pumps are also mounted on their perches here. So the next step is that we're going to be running line from our tank to each of our bags. So we don't have the rear end yet, but I can mount the bags to our cross member here and then be able to route them out each of the sides down the frame and to our bags. In the front, we obviously don't have our crossmember pieces yet, but we could do the main line run and just leave it a little bit long where it's gonna go. So let's start playing out, see what kind of fittings and transitions we're gonna use, and then we could get our lines running.
Well, all right, guys, we got a ton of work done in this episode. We got this complete truck tore down, repainted. We got a bunch of work done in the bed of it. We got all our lines ran. Next episode, we're gonna be jumping to the front of the truck, into the engine compartment, getting our subframe put in, getting our motor in, and getting this truck back on the road. So make sure you guys are liking and subscribing so you don't miss out on the rest of this build. Keep trucking. We'll see you guys on the next one.